Is this fine?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say, R, W, X stands for read, write,
Execute.
execute. Clear? Then we have this dash in the starting or D in the starting. These two things in the starting if we have. So dash represents file and D represents directory, means folder. If I have to check if something is directory or a file, I will do the command ls-al or ls-lrt. So these things will represent more information about the file. So okay, so this is how we understand the file permissions: read, write, execute, read, write, execute. So there are total 10 lines. 10, you can say lines like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. First one, either it will be dash or either it can be D. D represents slash represents file. D represents folder. The first three, it will be written like this. Just for the explanation, I'm writing like this, and this. Now, these starting three permissions are for user. The middle three are for group, and the end one is for
Others.
others. So, user who has created the file, group, whatever group you have attached to that particular file or a folder, and in that particular group, how many users are there. So that what represents the group permissions. And then others. So whoever is not there in the group and whoever is not the owner, rest users will be coming into this permissions. So the first dash stands for read permission, second for write permission, third for execute. Same like this, RWX, RWX. So if I have to give permissions, right? So let's say this is a question to you, okay? Everyone, this is a question, okay? So make sure you guys are paying attention. So the current permissions are okay. So first, I want you guys to solve these two questions. You guys have to write into the chat. Tajuddin, listen to me. You have to write into the chat.
Okay.
So that everybody will get the opportunity, and I will also try to understand. George, you can also try. Nana, you can also try. Joseph, everybody, I'm waiting for your answers.
Oh. Okay.
Joseph, have you understood the question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I know. I mean, I know it's a file, right? It's a file.
Okay.
How can I give execute permission? Okay.
Okay. Now let me explain, George. How can we say that this is a file? Because in the starting it is dash, simple dash. So that this represents file. So your answer like this is a folder with a file in it. No, that's not a correct answer. It's a file because the permissions, if you can see here, that's dash. Dash represents for file. If there was a D here, so that would have said that okay, this is a folder. Okay. The first three is stands for U, first three here. Then these three represents G. The last three represents O. If I have to add or give any permissions, I will say ch mode to whom you want to give the permissions. Let's say to user, group, and others. You want to give permissions to everyone. So you will say you want to add the permissions. So you will say execute permissions, then the name of the file. Okay. Let's suppose if you want to remove the permission, same way. So you will say u minus x or ugo minus x. If you want to remove from everyone, you can remove like this. So plus is to add a permission, minus is to remove a permission. So I hope this revision is helpful and did you guys understood?
Yes.
Okay. So that's nice. And then the next thing which we guys have to understood is the ownership. Now, what is ownership? When we do LL, or when we see more details of a file, it will be something like this also. Let's say this is example.txt. So here we have this rwx x dash rx dash. This is the permissions we have seen. Then it will say the quantity 1.5. Then the next thing is ec2 hyphen user, ec2 hyphen user. Okay, so this is how you can say permission or ownership has been written. Okay, now tell me ec2 hyphen user is a user and this is a group attached to that particular file. Now user and group, this is the ownership. So we use the command chown. Okay, we use the command chown. Change the ownership, change ownership. The full form of chown is change ownership. Anybody has any problem with this?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have a question because EC2 dash user and EC2 dash user. I mean, how do you determine the second one is a group and the first one is a user? Because
Because
they
of the
all
because of the placeholder.
the position.
Sorry.
You said for the position, just the
No,
position.
the name of these placeholders. The first one represents user. The second one represents group. Every time it won't be changing. So that is set and done. That okay. First permissions are for user, and second is for group. And how can we identify? Because when you run the change ownership command, so you have to give permissions like this. If you want to change permissions only for user, so you will say the user and then the this column. And if you want to do the same for the group also, so you say group and then use say like a file name. This is how you change the ownership. So give me a minute. I think it will be confusing here. So we will do the practical experiment only. Just a second. So I hope you guys are able to see the terminal.
Yes.
Okay. So here, if you guys can see that, okay, first one hyphen rw rr. This is and only one place has d. So d means the directory. Harsh is the directory. No problem. Now ec2 hyphen user, ec2 hyphen user. This ec2 hyphen user and this ec2 hyphen user. The first one represents user and the second one represents group. Okay. So now let's say I want to change the ownership and I want to make the changes to this particular class or txt file. I want to make root here. I want root here. I want root here. Okay. Can we try? It's a very simple command. So what is the command, everyone?
chown.
ch own. Now let's say for user and group, both of these things I want to change, right? I can do it together and I can do it separately as well. But I will show you first of all how to do it separately. Okay, so let's say ch own. Then I want to give the permissions of root. So first of all, if I want to access root, so I have to use sudo. So I'll say sudo ch own, then the permission of root, and this column, because if you want to give it together, so you will write like this: the user will be root and group will be root. But right now, only if you are giving permissions to user, so you will say root, then colon that okay, no, I don't want to change group, and then you will say class.txt, and you hit enter. Now there's nothing written, but if you do ll, so you see why the root came automatically, because if we can say it will inherit permissions for the group as well, because root is the very powerful. Okay, so if you want to change the group name now, that okay, I want the group name to be different, so you will say ch own, then you will say colon, and then you write the group, let's say harsh. There might be a group harsh. Now if I do ll, so you see the group has been, the group is different and user is different. Okay, so if I give permission like this sudo and ch own root, okay, and then put this colon, right? So that represents that okay, you will give the permissions to the, we can say, group and user both. Now let's say if I type the command sudo ch own harsh and then just class.txt, hit enter. Now if I say ll, so user has been changed. Okay, now let's say if I do the ch own ec2 hyphen user and just say class.txt, see ec2 hyphen user and harsh. So it did not change the harsh part. If I use sudo ch own and I'll say root this time and without the colon, so class.txt. So let's see what happens. So you see only it has changed for the this one. If I've put in here the this colon, and if I see then, so you see it changed for the group as well. You do not have to mention any group name. So make sure if you just want to give permissions to user, you will use like this ch own. Then the for the user, if you want to do, let's say root, you want to change and the class.txt. So this is the thing. If you just want to do for the group, that okay, you want to change ownership for the group, you want to attach a different group, so you will say colon and then whatever group name. I hope that makes sense to you, everyone.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone has any question, they can ask. It's a very simple command. You just have to practice 2 to 3 times, and you will be able to understand what actually this means. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. If anyone has any type of questions or anything, you can ask. Okay, so I don't think anybody has any question. So I'll move forward and I'll tell you something else that, okay, we had talked about learning about shell scripting from today. Okay, so what is shell scripting? Anyone has any idea? Anyone? I know you will think that okay, we are into the course of AWS or cloud computing, but why are you teaching us the scripting? Why Linux? Because I just want to give you a roadmap that if you are someone who has started learning Linux, so what a beginner can do, a beginner can list files, change permissions, change ownership, do the basic things which we have learned till now, right? So all those things comes into the part of a beginner. But what is the difference and how can we differentiate between a beginner and an advanced person, right? So I'm not going to make you an expert in shell scripting fully, but I'm going to give you the basics so that if you are interested in learning that, you guys can try to catch up by yourself only. Okay, and whatever amount of shell script is required, I will try to cover in this particular course. Okay, so anyone has any idea about shell script?
I believe shell script is a programming language.
Okay. How does it help? What does it perform or what does it do?
It's help us write code that we need to accomplish certain tasks.
Okay. Anybody else?
We can use shell scripts to automate, as he said, automate certain tasks like backup and run some cron jobs and stuff like that.
Okay, that's nice. So we call this particular screen here, if I'm typing commands here, so what do we call it? We call it terminal, right? Most of the time. We call it terminal, we call it CLI. And there is one more name to this, shell. This particular thing is a shell. Shell, what is the meaning of shell? What is the meaning of terminal, or what is the meaning of command line interpreter? Is that it's a command line interpreter. Interpreter means if you give some instructions, so that will provide you the output with whatever you have asked, right? So now this is a user interface for accessing the services of an operating system. Let's say what I was doing. If I clear, okay, so if I have to see what files are here, so I have to do ls and it will give or it will show me the files and we can say folders which are present here. So that's a part of operating system. So I had to check what can be there in this particular file or a folder. To identify that, I run ls command. So I'm a user. For my interface, they gave me command line interface. I ran a command, it gave me the output, right? So it allows users to interact with the system by executing some commands, right? So there are different types of shells in linux which are present. There is Bourne shell, there is Born again shell, bash, there's corn shells, C shell, right? There are so many shell. And if we want to check that, okay, Harsh, tell us which shell we are using. So we will say echo dollar and then all capital shell. So you see, bin bash means we are using the bash shell, which is the born again shell, an enhanced version of Bourne shell, widely used in Linux. In most of the Linux, you will find this particular shell only, right? So that doesn't matter what kind of a shell we are using or anything, but whatever good operating systems you'll be using mostly the bash shell only. So and it's good practice to use bash shell. Okay. So there are different types of shell. I will help you understand what all these are, how many types of shell are. But if you don't want to dive into deep dive into it, also you can skip it. I've pasted into the chat. If somebody who's interested, they can understand about it. Okay. But our job is to understand that here we are writing us. If we are writing a script, so shell script. Shell means the interpreter, and script means we are going to give some instructions in a file. A list of instructions we are going to give. So the shell is going to execute those. So that is the meaning of shell script. Shell means a command line interpreter which executes whatever instructions you give. It will execute them and it will give you the output. Okay. So now, how do we create a shell script? What I can do, I can type vi, or you can use nano in your case, or whatever text editor you want to do. So I will say vi. I will say first dot sh. So dot sh represents the shell script. What this dot sh represents, guys?
Shell script.
Shell script. Okay. Now, if I hit enter, so it will open a file for me. Right now, I'm into command mode. I want to go into the insert mode. What should I press?
All right.
I.
Okay, really nice. So to move into the insert mode, I have to press I. So I will say I. So you see, I'm into the insert mode. Okay. So that's about it. Now I have to start writing the script. So the script structure looks like this. That first of all, you have to add a name which is named add a thing which is called a shebang. Shebang is the first line of a script that will specify your interpreter that okay, you are using the, we can say, bash shell, and this is, you are going to write like this hashtag this. So this represents the shebang, and then you are going to say which interpreter, which shell you are using. So in our case, we are using bin bash. Okay. Now this is the command. Okay. Now anyone, can you tell me like three commands which I should write here? How do I update the system? This is a Red Hat system. How can I update Red Hat system?
That's a
Anyone?
yum.
Okay. Sudo yum
Yep. Yum.
update. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now I want to list the files. Now I want to create a folder /home /Ubuntu. No, I want to create here only. I'll say the folder name as scripts. Okay. Then I will say sudo systemctl status nginx. Okay. So now I have written these commands. I'll go to the command mode. I'll save the file and exit. Now let's say if I check the first.sh file, so for the user, it has only read write permissions. So if I execute the script, it won't execute because it doesn't have the execute permissions. So if I have to give the permission, how can I do it? What should I write?
ch own.
ch
Mode,
ch mode
not the own. Own is for ownership.
Okay.
ch mode
Yes,
u
mode
plus x, and you define it.
first.sh. Okay. Now if I see, okay, so that it has turned into green means it is an executable file now. Okay. So there is two ways I can execute this file. Either I can write bash and the name of the file, or either I can just type a dot and a forward slash and the name of the file. So you see, it has started to update. Okay. So here, let's suppose if I have to give a y here manually. So if I have to ignore that, and if I want my script to do that, we will see how can we do that. Now you see it is updating the system automatically. I just ran the script. It is updating the system. It will work. Wait a second. You see, and it is giving me the permission of nginx also. You see, class.txt, explain permissions.txt, first.sh. This is an output of our ls command. And here, when I did systemctl status nginx, so it is said this is the service which is stopped. It's an inactive service. So whatever instructions we had given here inside this file, yum update, right? But when I did yum update, so what happened? It asked me for the user permission y or no, right? So if I write y hyphen y, so it will automatically do everything. There will be no human intervention. There will be no need of any human to do yes. Okay. Ls gave the output of, we can say, all the files which were there, mkdir script. So let's see if it has created scripts folder or not. You see, it has created a folder named as scripts. Understood?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what a script known as. Okay, so you can give set instructions, whatever things you have learned, whatever commands you have learned, and if you want to perform, let's suppose 10 operations every day, that is your recursive job. That okay, I have to come here, I have to do this, I have to patch the system, I have to upgrade the system, right? That's a lot of tasks, right? So in that particular condition, what you can do, guys, you can write a script and you can give those instructions into a script. Let's suppose sudo yum upgrade. Okay, sudo systemctl restart nginx. Okay, then so these are the three tasks which you want to do recursively. So you just do it, save the file, and you come every day to your office and you just run the script. Ta-da. So everything will be, you just have to sit back and relax. See, everything got completed. If now I check the status of my Nginx, it is running because I gave the command to my script that you should restart the Nginx. First it was inactive, now it is active. How many of you have understood the idea of shell script? Yes, Joseph, you can ask.
I said I understood.
Sorry, you understood?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else who has any type of a problem? Okay. So shall I show you something more interesting? Okay.
Yes.
Let's say there's a file harsh.txt. I want to move this harsh.txt file into this harsh folder. So what I'll do, I'll create a new script. Okay. First line, hashtag this /bin /bash. So I will check if the folder exists or not. So there are few things in programming, any programming if you will go, conditional operators that you check the with the condition. So let's say I'll say if is the condition, we write conditions like this, and you give -d. -d stands for there is a directory with the name whatever we will give exist or not. So I want to check the folder harsh. If harsh folder is there, right? Then what you need to do. So I will say then what you have to do is you have to perform a task. So I want mv harsh.txt to the folder harsh. Okay, and then I will say echo task. Don't get confused. Just if you are not able to understand, don't worry. Just a simple one. Task completed. And here I will say else, and I will say echo directory is not present. Okay, and I will close the if condition fi. Okay, just a second. Okay, so I will come to the next line. I will say here echo welcome to the script. Okay, so let's save the file. Let's clear everything. Let me do ls for you guys. So right now I'll do pwd. Okay, pwd, and I will show you guys that I'm into the file, and I'm into the, we can say, file folder where I can see harsh.txt, and there's a folder harsh. So I have written a script which will check if on the location we have a folder harsh. If yes, then move this harsh.txt into harsh folder. So let's see if our script will do it or not. So I will run the script, but before running the script, what I have to do, I have to make the second.sh executable. Chmod u plus x, then the second.sh. Now if I do ll, so my second.sh is also executable. So I'll say dot /second.sh. Welcome to the script. Directory is not present. So I have the harsh, but why is it saying that okay, directory is not present? What do you guys think? Because the folder name here is, it doesn't have s, but here in that I have written the s inside it.
Yeah, I was gonna say yes because it's again.
That's a silly mistake I've done.
Yeah, it's just kind of like
Yeah. So I'll just remove this one, and now if I run the script, task completed. So it says welcome to the script and task completed. It means the file which was present here should be moved into the harsh folder. Let's do a little. See, compare the things now. Earlier we had this harsh.txt. Now there is no harsh.txt here. No harsh.txt.
So it's moved it into HARH folder.
Okay, let's inside this HARH folder. There is nothing. Why? What happened? What do you guys think? What has happened? There's so much background noise. Can you hear it? Okay. So I'll tell you what has happened, because when we open the second.sh, so when I did here the mv command, so we did harsh here, correct, harh correct, but here when we used mv command, still it was moving to this folder, and that folder does not exist. So it tried to move into a file only. So now what this time what we want to check, that if we have a scripts folder, if it is there, so I want to move the first.sh file into script folder. Okay, let's try to do this one. Let's see what all files are present here. Okay, let me first of all remove this harsh file. Okay, and now I'll do ll, and you see there are these files, six, total 6 things are here. Now if I execute second.sh, it says task completed. Now let's say ll, let's compare. Only 5 things are here. So there is no first.sh. So the first.sh should be moved into the scripts folder. Yes, first.sh is moved into the scripts folder. So that's how a Linux script or a shell script can help us to automate tasks, right?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have understood that, okay, we can write conditional operators, which is if else conditions, right? So these are the very basic. You don't have to, I mean, to become a cloud engineer, you don't have to actually learn these things, but you have to have an idea about it. So slowly you guys can practice on your own, right? I will share some notes, or we can say good notes on shell script, that how can you start learning, because it's just you're going to type commands and you're going to give instructions, so that now you know how to use a Linux, and now you can perform all these things by yourself. Now you're ready to do that. So for this weekend I will share the, I mean, PDF. If I'll just let me check if I have it right now. I'll share in the WhatsApp group right now only. Just a minute. Okay, I am not able to find it right now. So once I'll look into it, it might be in my hard disk. So I'll give you guys that particular thing, okay? And you can read that particular shell script, practice shell script on your own Linux, okay? So that you will be able to understand more properly. Okay. Anyone has any questions till now?
Yes.
Yes.
On my laptop,
Okay.
I couldn't use the VI editor. Let me show you. Let me share the screen so that you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay. This one of the problem. I'm coming. Are you seeing my screen?
Just a minute. I'm just looking for. Yes, I can see a screen.
Okay. If I type VI, okay.
Okay. Type it.
What's in my screen again?
Click inside the terminal. Yeah. Now type.
What's in my open again? I don't know. Sorry. Okay. VI.
File.
Uh-huh. Hello? Let me
Yeah.
press I. Be in the start mode.
Yeah.
It's not responding.
Press I.
I press I, it's not responding. Yeah, yes, are you? I.
Press. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
If you type anything else.
Okay. Enter.
Yeah.
But it's
And
not
more details.
on the bottom. It's not the mode is not changing to insert mode.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's fine. Sometimes these some Linuxes doesn't show the insert in the bottom. It's fine. Now hit escape and colon WQ. Escape
Okay.
colon W.
Escape. Then WQ.
Colon WQ. Colon means two dot.
Escape. Hold on. WQ. Exclamation
Enter.
mark. Exclamation mark.
Enter. Enter. No, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So
Now
some
use
minutes will not.
now use Vim. VIM.
Okay.
Space the same name. Pract. PRACT.
Rocks.
Enter.
Okay.
So you can install Vim. You can run the command sudo apt install Vim.
I don't understand.
Sudo, the first command, sudo apt install Vim. Vim is the upgraded version of
Okay.
VI.
Sudo
apt
apt install
Vim.
Vim. I heard that.
Enter. Yeah. Password for your user.
Okay. Do you want to
Hit
continue?
Y. Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's
Okay.
in it.
Now use VIM space pract. Enter.
Eh?
Now hit I. I.
Okay.
Now you
Okay.
see. Now you see
Okay.
insert in the bottom.
Okay, okay, okay. I can see. Now this is what
Okay.
I. Okay, the second one. Okay, let me. Okay, I see.
Okay. Thank you. So I am sharing one. Okay. Can you stop sharing your screen?
Okay. Oh, excuse me. When I try to
Yes.
run system CTL start NGIN, it
Okay.
yes. Let me show you. Let me show you. System.
Okay.
Okay,
So it
that's
has
fine.
started. It has started. Yes. It won't show you
Okay,
anything.
if I want to check the status, okay.
Okay.
Status. Yes. This is the problem I encountered when I was practicing on my own. See, can you see? Lines
Yeah.
1 to 17 over 17 end. So I
It is
had to
working.
terminate. I had to terminate the terminal. I had to stop it. I couldn't
No.
proceed.
Just press Q. Just press Q on your keyboard.
Q. Okay. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Does that one signify the end of the process?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That is
Thank
all,
you.
sir.
Yep.
Yes. When I was practicing, that's what I encountered. So,
Problem. No problem, sir. Wait a minute.
You have to
Yeah.
read it. Did you see how it's telling the status is active? You have to read the line. Look at what it says active.
Just a second. What are you saying?
You have to read the line to understand what that means.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah. Can you repeat
Can
it
you
now?
share your screen back again?
Yeah, yeah.
Who was sharing?
Are you
Was
sharing
that
right now?
Josh?
I'll stop sharing.
Hey, I want you to share again. I want to show you something.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm coming, please. Okay. Yes.
You ask the question that what happens after system status. You have to read the line. So when it gives you that output, right, read the line, look down there. It tells you NGX service, a high performance web server, and a
Yeah.
reverse proxy server. Look at there. It says active, right?
Okay.
Active equals active meaning is running.
Yes, I
So
read it.
that
Yes, yes.
yeah.
I read it. I read it.
Just
Yes, yes.
okay, just making sure you saw that.
Yeah.
So
I
you
read
do the
it. I read it.
status, it's telling you active. If you do the status and it tells you stop, then you have
Yes.
to start it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
Thank you.
Just wanted to share that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So I have pasted few scripting notes. Okay. Shell script notes. So I hope this will help you guys. Okay.
Okay.
So that's first one is we can say production level. We can say shell script. So if your production level means when you're working in an organization and when you want to deploy a project, right? So during that, how shell script will help you. So if you will open that file, first is like if you have to take any backup, so file backup script, system monitoring script. So just for you to understand, okay, that okay, how far can we go? And then I've given you some interview questions that what are the possibilities that okay, an interviewer might ask something from shell script. So those questions. And now from the beginner perspective, if you're learning just starting the shell script, I will give you that notes as well, right? Which will contain everything to, I mean, basics of basics. Okay. Just a second.
Okay. It's
One minute. Okay, if you can check the last file, which is named as shell script basics. So it will consist of what is shell scripting, what is shebang, what is the basic example of a shell script, right? How can you install something? How can you practice hands-on? What are variables? What are conditional statements? Declaring function arguments, scope of variables. So if you're interested in learning this programming language, I mean, you can. You have all the resources. Anytime, if you will have any doubt as well, I'll be happy to help you with that also. I want you guys to do that. And in tomorrow's class, we are going to discuss virtualization. Okay. And we will end this week with good Linux, whatever we have learned Linux from past 2 weeks, Linux and the virtualization. Virtualization, we almost have done it. The VMware workstation and everything is a part of virtualization. We are going to study a little more about virtualization. And then from next week, we are going to try our hands on AWS. Okay.
okay.
Okay. And I will after completion of AWS, I will tell you how to do all of those things through the Terraform as well. Okay. So
Okay.
make sure everybody is as excited as you are right now. So last 2 weeks we'll study the AWS and Terraform. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Then you will be
Are you gonna show us? Are you gonna show us a little bit of Ansible and like
no. That's part of a DevOps. I will only be showing here AWS and Terraform.
Okay. So when you talk about AWS and Terraform, like, what does that qualify you as? Qualify you as an AWS engineer or qualify as DevOps engineer?
No. What happens that okay, you will be called as a cloud computing engineer or AWS engineer, you can call yourself. But nowadays, what's happening with organizations because they want people to create the same resources using the Terraform as well. So I will give you idea how you can do that with the Terraform also. So when you're going for an interview, you can tell them that okay, I know the manual part also, how to do a certain task, and I know how to do it with Terraform as well. So that makes you system provisioning tools. That is Terraform. Terraform is a system provisioning tool.
So basically, you tell them that that's what you know, and then they can start your questions on that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then whatever you have to do, you can. And but in this process, make sure you guys are practicing, and make sure you are going through the recordings and through the notes as well. Because if you want to grasp the basic understanding, you need to focus on all of these things.
It's okay.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Are we meeting tomorrow?
Yeah. Yeah. Friday we are meeting.
And what are we working on tomorrow?
Tomorrow we are going to just do the theory part. There is no practical tomorrow. There is only we can say this virtualization part. So don't worry. For tomorrow, I will try to make the class very short because I know it becomes boring if we are learning 5 days. So tomorrow I'll try to make it very small class and I'll just explain about virtualization. Okay.